Yeah. Mm. Hey there, YouTubers. Yeah. Um, so can anyone hear me or see me? I can't see the chat window, which is a problem. Why is that? Um, For some reason, I can't see chat. So I don't know what you guys can see or hear. I had a few problems launching this today, obviously, which is why I'm running so late. Where's the chat window? Where are you, chat? Um, I don't know why it says private. Hmm. Sorry, guys, for the messing around. I'm still new to these live streams, and there was a lot of issues with it today. And I can't see the chat, so that's a bit of a problem. Don't really know how to rectify it either. Ah, chat. Yay. All right. I can see you. Hey, Rebecca and Netta. Thanks for showing up, guys. Oh, what a headache it's been trying to get this going today. I actually had to pay again to Zoom. Anyway, that's a long story. They've just done my head in. I'm going to be sending a lot of emails to them because they've really stuffed me around. Hey, Pluto, yes, centering Aqua. Yeah, that's what I want to talk about today. Well, basically the conjunction occurred 11:57 a.m. Melbourne, Australia time. So that was just over an hour ago. And I was hoping to be prepared by then, but things didn't go smoothly. But being the persistent, strong-headed ram that I am, I just kept plowing through until I finally got it. So here I am. So it's very, very interesting energetically. I don't know how you guys are feeling, but let me just close this door. There's so many things to say about this, and we'll be talking about this conjunction, these energies for a long time, really, because this month and this year are passages in our lifetime that we've never seen before and we will never see again. There's no question about that. First of all, yesterday we had the Sun-Pluto conjunction in Capricorn at the 29th degree of 59 minutes, which is an anaretic degree, the last degree. You know, it's a very, very big deal. When we're talking about something coming to an end, there is always a new beginning just in front of it. So it's a very unique pattern of energy that we are seeing at the moment with the Sun-Pluto finishing the journey in Capricorn. Literally, we'll never see that conjunction again in our lifetime. And then hours later, literally, it was actually an hour later, the Sun ingressed into Aquarius. And then about 10 or 11 hours later, Pluto ingressed into Aquarius. So that Sun-Pluto conjunction in Aquarius at 0 degrees is primal, crucial, phenomenal. It's a really, really big deal. I think it's going to speak to a lot of different things for us moving on into the future. But what I want to show you guys is just the chart for this conjunction. And I'll just get up a chart for, well, this will be for right now, as in 1:14 p.m. Melbourne time. There's the conjunction there, right, which occurred basically just over an hour ago. Now, there's two very distinct things taking place with this conjunction. There's the Sun-Pluto, obviously. Let me just grab an annotation just to highlight. So there's the Sun-Pluto conjunction right there. Now, look at the moon at 6 degrees of Gemini, which of course forms a trine to the Sun-Pluto, right? The other factor is Jupiter is actually square the Sun-Pluto conjunction. That is a very, very important aspect. This is really, well, first of all, let me just backtrack and let me just say, gorgeous photo of Coco, yeah. Show us the chart of the cat. She's my soulmate. There she is right there. That's Coco. So I was just going to say that yesterday when we had the Sun-Pluto conjunction at the last degree of Capricorn, there was a trine with the moon in Taurus. So we were closing a huge portal, a huge chapter, which has been going on for quite some time. In really, we can say it's been since 2008, right? Since Pluto entered Capricorn, right? Although Pluto will go back into Capricorn again this year and doesn't fully commit to Aquarius until November, nevertheless, the fact that it got to that final degree and final minute, and then subsequently just hours later, we see this is a very unique pattern of energies. So the Sun-Pluto in Capricorn was trine the moon in Taurus, and then the following, not even the following day, just hours later, we have Sun-Pluto conjunction 0 degrees of Aquarius. 0 degrees is always a really important degree. It's a critical degree. It's a new evolutionary cycle of things beginning. And in this pattern, we have the moon trine, which is really, it's a really hopeful signature, actually, the moon being trine this Sun-Pluto. The Jupiter being square this Sun-Pluto conjunction is, I mean, square aspects are typically very dynamic, can be very, very challenging and often very difficult to resolve, right? But in this particular pattern, I think there is a more optimistic feel to this energy. First of all, because we're talking about the sun, which is our spirit energy, the light, the illumination on the planet, the light of everything, really, and our own personal spirit energy. And Jupiter is a benefic planet. And Jupiter square the sun, even if you have that natally or by transit, it's typically not a it's not a difficult transit. It can have some components to it that can be related to things of excess, for instance, right? So that can be a problem for some people, but generally speaking, it's not a difficult aspect. And Jupiter-Pluto aspects are one of the most powerful and favorable aspects to have, whether it's natally or whether it's via a transit, because Jupiter is many different things, but one thing it is that urge to expand ourselves, to expand our consciousness, to expand our field of experience, to grow, right? Just to grow as an individual, as a soul. And with Pluto in play, what it's suggesting is that there's a strong energy being presented to us for the urge to grow above and beyond and transcend the personal limitations, Pluto, Scorpio, soul level things. And this is speaking to a collective pattern of energies. So there's a collective field of this experience, and then there's an individual field. But overall, it's the urge to expand and grow and evolve beyond what we can probably even imagine, actually. So, Pluto-Jupiter aspects are usually really giant personalities or giant people, as it were, that really come through with that, real optimistic growth, regeneration, way of seeing life and living life and evolving and transforming and growing through things. So it's the energy that enables us to really grow and expand above and beyond all limitations, actually. It's a very, very, very powerful aspect. If you are going through a really difficult time or have been going through a really difficult time, this is the sort of energy that really raises us up, that really bumps up the level of confidence and level of ability to tune into being able to, just plow through things, just move through things and have that confidence and courage and faith to transform, right? Now, this is speaking to, as I said, real collective, bigger picture things. It's a really positive aspect is what I'm essentially trying to say. So the fact that this month in January, we have the Sun-Pluto in Capricorn, which happened yesterday at the last degree and last minute, and hours later we have this show up. This is a really phenomenal, I really just can't even bring up enough words to describe how phenomenal these energies are. This is real revolutionary energy. And even Uranus, now, although it's not square by distance in terms of the degrees, because 19 degrees is quite far away from 0 degrees of Aquarius, they are still actually square each other. So this is the revolutionary element in the picture. And there are going to be revolutions really taking place for the next 20 years while Pluto is in Aquarius, right? There's going to be revolution upon revolution upon revolution. The last time this happened, there was the French Revolution, right, when Pluto was in Aquarius, and that was huge for the collective in the world at that time. But we don't know what's really going to come up this time around because we are in a different point in history. We have evolved past what was happening during the French Revolution, right? But it is obvious that the level of technology is going to speed up and fast track and move through a lot of different things and bring forth a lot of a lot of technological advancements that we never even thought possible. These are all, possibilities. The possibilities actually are infinite. And I don't even think we can, truly conceive what's to come. We've had a taste of it, I think, in the last couple of years, really. And certainly in 2023, I think we had a real fast track introduction when this whole AI business, was born, as it were. And we've seen that the web has always got a dark side to it, technology always has a dark side to it as well. So it is about collective consciousness and how people will use, you know, these futuristic technological advancements, and there's always going to be a dark side. And Pluto in Aquarius will absolutely, from the point of view of revolutions, it is going to bring in new systems that actually will start supporting humanity, right? This business of a small minority, rather, I should say, the majority, living a life where we are, you know, enslaved into these systems, right, of control, small pay. Some people have no food to eat, you know, that there are hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of issues like that have been going on for a very long time. But Aquarius is a sign that actually gives a shit about humanity. If it's one sign that really cares about humanity, it's this sign here. So we are going to see the death, Pluto, of systems that do not support the human family. And it's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen today or tomorrow or next week or even in November, but it's slowly going to start coming through. That's what we're going to see fundamentally over a 20-year period. So these old patriarchal, controlling, tyrannical systems and individuals, they're all just crashing down one by one. We can see it even just through the collective awareness, awakening. People's eyes have opened up in such a fast-tracked way the last 3.5 years because there's been no choice but to wake up. There are many that are still, you know, their eyes are closed. And some people, it's virtually impossible to penetrate into the level of conditioning that they have. So there will be still pockets, you know, around that are still very blinded and conditioned. But for the most part, a lot of people are generally waking up. And I mean, this matter of Palestine, and I will bring this up, and I send love and peace to all our brothers and sisters in Palestine. Just to sidetrack for a moment, I've been posting a lot of content. Let me just have a look at some comments here just quickly. Regardless of the connotation Pluto brings on its own, remain optimistically. Stephanie King, yes, thanks for your comment. I agree. French farmers fed up. Yep. Hi from Portland, Oregon. Hi, Nadia. Hey, sister. Many blessings to you, my sister. So I was just going to say that I've been posting daily on the matters of Palestine, and I'm being censored quite a lot, you know, on Facebook and Instagram. And I've even had fake profiles come on and threaten me. Yeah, well, threaten me from the point of view of they're going to shut down my page, pretending that they are admins from Facebook, and they're not. They're just these little entities floating around that have been specifically employed to target people who are revealing the truth. And given I was born to speak truly from my heart and soul with a fearless bloodline that I come from, my father's name is Achilles, one of the greatest warriors in Greek myth and history. Do you think that being born from a man like that, who lived actually that heroic sort of life, that I'm going to be scared to speak up? No, I'm not. And so here I am doing it again. But anyway, the point is that there's a lot of the censorship has gone up to, you know, some level way out there. It's so extreme to the point where, as I said, you know, people are paid to create these fake profiles and threaten and scare people and so forth. And that is actually, for those who have eyes to see, that is actually just showing us just how intense the crashing of these systems, these lies, these tyrannical individuals, groups, whoever they may be, are desperately trying to hang on to this old paradigm and old system that has existed, or systems that have existed actually for thousands of years, right? You know, in the Hindu traditions, they really refer to these times as the Kali Yuga. Now, I'm not a specialist on those teachings, but I know some basics, and I understand that it is said that we have been in the Kali Yuga period for quite some time, actually, which is pretty obvious anyway. And we're really right towards the end of that cycle, which is a cycle that is defined by things crashing, as in false systems, tyrannical things, more evil actions, behaviors, and things will show up. All the dark shit that's been hidden, right? That's been hidden for a very long time is all coming up to the surface. It's bubbling up everywhere. And these systems and these individuals and these people they are finding it impossible to cover everything up like they have been for a long time. Thus is the power of technology. And I said in the little video that I did yesterday on my Facebook that technology, the level of advancement, and in terms of how much people can see now, because things cannot be hidden. You know, there's a war going on, which is not even a war, it's a genocide. Let's be realistic. There's a genocide taking place, which is being filmed in real time. In what right level of consciousness would we think that such a thing would actually occur? And people are becoming numb and sensitized, and it's becoming a normalized thing to watch. It's not normal at all. But on the flip side of that coin is the fact that everything is being revealed, and people can, it's very difficult to deny the truth now, you see. That's the problem. And so technology is shooting these people in the foot, because everything is being exposed and revealed. This is Pluto in Aquarius revolutionizing humanity, right? Humanity is going to wake up in a way that they've never woken up before. Pluto in Aquarius. And it begins with a square to Jupiter. It's just phenomenal. It's phenomenal energies. And that Pluto Sun Conjunction is right on my ascendant. So I'm feeling this energy, gosh, really just, I feel it in my body, literally. I can feel it in my soul, my heart, my body, my psyche, my spirit. It's just really, really, really intense. Let me just see. Hey, Rami, love you too. Nadia, as a Palestinian and a human, I appreciate you speaking on the atrocities. I didn't realize you were from Palestine, Nadia. I knew that you were from the Middle East, but I didn't realize you were a Palestinian. I sort of had a feeling in the last couple of lives that I did when I saw you jump on. The thought did cross my mind, but thank you for letting me know. And much blessings and love to you as well. And yeah, I will always speak up on this, no matter what. The Leo Aquarius axis authenticity. Stephanie King, that's a great point. Thank you for bringing that up. That is, and I wanted to speak on that, so thank you for reminding me. That is exactly right. The ingression of Pluto in Aquarius with the Sun conjunction here, and actually the Sun rules Leo anyway, right? I think, you know, when we look at it in the bigger picture scheme of things, Pluto in Aquarius, its polarity point is Leo, right? So this is truly it's a journey, you know, a collective journey. It's bringing humanity together, right? Pluto in Aquarius, to transform and transcend beyond the lies, the deception, the illusions, the fabrications, the false systems. And it's about uniting humanity, bringing, you know, literally the human soul family race together, right? From a heart-centered position. And again, Stephanie, thank you for bringing that up, because it's so, so crucial. One of the biggest problems, in my personal opinion, in this world at large for a very long time, due to the material drive of the personality and ego, which is consumption, right? To have more, the level of greed that basically is evil. What that has done over a very, very long period of time, it's conditioned people into believing and thinking that life is just this material experience, right? That we need to have bigger cars, bigger houses, more money. We need to work hard. It's all this brainwashing, conditioned crap, right? And what that has done is it has literally taken people out of their center, their heart. It's taken people out of their heart center, right? And this Pluto in Aquarius being polarized by Leo, that polarity axis, is going to be a stark reminder of how vital and how powerful and how important it is for us to get back into our heart center as a human family together. Together we are stronger. You know, divided, we are weaker. United, we are powerful. And they know. That's why there are so many stories that have been going on for a long time that ultimately have the agenda of creating division and hatred, because that actually takes people out of their center. When people are in their heart center and united, there is nothing more powerful than that, nothing. So these are the energies we are basically looking at for the next 20 years. Do you think these systems are going to be able to stop this? It's obvious they won't. They can't. Look at it all. It's all crumbling. It's all just crashing down. I don't know how much of social media you guys watch or which platforms you are connected with, but certainly on mainstream, such as, Facebook and Instagram is heavily censored. So is TikTok. TikTok is the latest one to be completely taken over by these tyrannical entities that are, what they're doing is, because I follow numerous people on TikTok that are TikTok creators, as they call them, and all they do 24/7 is post the facts about what's happening in Palestine, right? And I'm talking graphic things, I'm talking things that will just blow your mind. As soon as they put the video up, TikTok just removes it, right? So TikTok is being heavily, heavily, heavily policed, right? And people are employed to go on there and send threats to people. It's just mind-boggling what's going on, right? But the fact is that these videos, they do get seen. Even if they get removed, they do get seen by a lot of people. So there are millions and millions and millions and millions, and I'm not exaggerating, millions and millions of people protesting all around the world. And yes, it's got to do with the farmers and the crops and the food and the money systems. It's got to do with Palestine. It's got to do with this greed bullshit that we are just all completely so over. It's got to do with fairness, equality, justice. It's got to do with right law. It's got to do with natural law. You know, these BS systems are crumbling. And there's a lot of powerful people actually supporting this. So it's not just the average person like you and me, where a lot of the time we can feel so helpless and so powerless because we think, how can my voice make a difference? How can I make a change? This issue is so big, it's way beyond me. But you know what? That is the thinking that they want us to have, because that thinking is what actually leaves us feeling powerless. And it's also the thinking that will probably divide us as well. So what we really need to do is step into the opposite of that, which is the heart center, Leo, opposite Aquarius. Step into that heart. You know, in terms of electromagnetic fields, which the Earth has her own electromagnetic field. Well, the heart, our actual heart, the organ, the heart, has a magnetic electric field around it that is extremely, extremely powerful. Let me just say that. It is so powerful that somebody could be standing a small distance away from you, and that person's magnetic field from their heart and your heart magnetic field, they come together, they fuse together. There's an energy exchange when that is open, right? Now, and a lot of you would be aware of this, when that COVID BS was around, and they specifically, and I'm sure this was the case for just about every single country, they made this rule that you had to stand, what was it? How many meters? It was a certain amount of meters away from each other, whether you're standing in a line in the supermarket or walking down the street or wherever you were. Well, that distance that rule of distance they made up, that distance was the exact measurement of distance that actually keeps our magnetic fields, our heart magnetic fields, not within vicinity to contact each other. Think about that. That's, it's so obvious when you've got this information, this wisdom, this understanding, and the eyes to see through the BS, to penetrate through the BS. Now, Pluto in Aquarius, that's what it's going to do. It's going to penetrate through the BS. And because Aquarius also speaks to specific groups and communities, as it always does, right? Some of those communities and some of those groups are going to be very, very dark. There's a lot of dark cults and groups around. Now, I can think of a few that I can name, but I won't, because I know it'll piss some people off, and I just don't want to go there right now. But one of them starts with Z. I'll leave it at that. So Pluto leaves no stone unturned. No stone unturned. It exposes everything. Look at what it's exposed in Capricorn since 2008. Let me just take a breath. Imagine what it's going to expose in Aquarius. Let's see what's going on here. Soul Secret Service, hello there. Yeah, thank you for your appreciation. It is like digging for gems, pebbles, but as I said in a video that I was going to share it on YouTube, but then I changed my mind last minute, and I'm sort of covering much more here today anyway. But I did speak on that issue, and I said that, there's with all the censorship and with all the control and, all that lower Saturn stuff as it is expressed through the tyrannical systems, you just have to go back to myth. What did Saturn do? He swallowed all his children for fear of being overtaken by them. Control. What actually freed that whole situation up? Uranus, because Uranus is the liberator, the one that wakes us up. So we might have to go digging, as Pebbles said, for gems or whatever, however you want to term it. But I can tell you now, with the level of exposure of things nowadays, you don't have to dig too far. The only thing that I would say on that point, because of the level of fabrication and deception and made up material, narratives, content, and so forth, you do have to use critical reasoning skills and discern through the BS. And sometimes it can be very, very tricky. It can fool us like that. But if you just keep looking, you will actually come to the truth of things. I saw an awesome video, which I would have loved to have showed you here. It's of a content creator, a guy from Iran, I believe he is, and he's done this in such an awesome way, which is just a reflection of what we can do with technology nowadays. He's got himself standing what appears to be the World Economic Forum stage. And next to him is Klaus Schwab and all those Muppets sitting, you know, side by side. It's like there's this meeting going on. And he's up on the stage, you know, with a microphone, and he starts off by saying, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak, you know, upon these issues today. And then he turns around and he literally looks at Klaus Schwab and he says, things of the nature of F you, F your system, F your world order, F to all the audience. You can all go and F yourselves, you know, and we the people are sovereign and free, and we will not be taken by your new world order, and so on and so forth. Now, if you look at that video, it goes for about 30 seconds. It's made so it looks real, but it wasn't real. This guy created it in such a way where it actually looks real. It was hilarious. I couldn't stop laughing. I sent it to Fee, who's in this group here. She saw it. So just an example. But that, see, even though that was kind of funny and it wasn't a real video, it still is the, what's the word? It's the sentiment that each of us have in our heart and mind about this BS, right? And he's just a person creating this content, really being a voice for all of us in that style, in that way, which I think it's very sort of Uranian, you know, it's just freaking awesome. Just see, 6 feet apart in Canada. Okay, so it was about 6 feet, yeah. Hi, Leslie. Yes, thanks for your comment. Yeah, I think, you know, I think we've all been going through a lot of karmic closures, you know, completions with Pluto, because Pluto being at the end of Capricorn, you know, the last couple of years, it's gotten to that part of the cycle where we have to finish those Capricorn themes in our life, as it were, you know, and from a bigger picture, that the Capricorn archetype has got to do, you know, with our conscious construct of reality. That means who we see, who we speak to, who we interact with, who we work with, you know, so on and so forth. So there would have been a lot of karmic endings and closures for a lot of people on that level, for sure. I mean, I personally have had that happen over a long period of time, because I've had Pluto in my 12th house for the last 15 years, 16 years. And I'm through it. I'm still alive. And, you know, that's probably been, you know, the most difficult 15 years of my life, without question. You know, the amount of sense of death and endings and, you know, closing karmic cycles with certain individuals, and confronting a lot of things that, you know, weren't open and upfront, and, you know, it's very complex. There's a lot of layers to it. But let me just say that certainly I have felt that I have come to a complete closure and ending of a lot of karmic ties, if you like, some of which have been in my life for a long time, and some of which only briefly entered and exited. You know, it was all part of this Pluto coming to my ascendant, you know, just finishing certain things with certain individuals. So I can really relate to what you said, Leslie, and I think we've all been going through that in our own way, you know, with our own version of it, depending on where Pluto is in your chart, of course, and so forth. You saw it, Deb. Yeah, it did look real, didn't it? It was, it's my favorite video. And by the way, he made another one, several others actually, because someone on Instagram is sending them to me. One of them I saw, the rest I haven't, but the other one is really funny because it was made as though it was the, you know, the sequel to that particular video that I just described, and he comes on and he starts off, he's so funny. He starts off by saying, okay, so I'm back again, and I want to thank you all for giving me the opportunity to not apologize to any of you, and you can all go and get effed again. It's just, it's an absolute cracker. It's just so funny. So, just people are so clever, and obviously have time on their hands as well, you know, to make those sorts of videos. So it all transit my 8th house. Yeah, okay. Astrology with Natalie. Yes, well, we're all going to have Pluto somewhere. I guess now that you bring that up, I think what we need to consider is a couple of things. Well, first of all, do you have any planets at between 0 to say 5 Aquarius? Any planet will point in your chart, or Leo, 0 to 5 degrees of Leo. And then, of course, we'll bring in the square aspects as well, which is the axis of Taurus, Scorpio, right? So that grand cross of the fixed signs in our chart will be activated. The whole thing will be activated by Pluto, right? The squares, the oppositions. Then, of course, there's going to be trines. There's going to be sextiles. So there's lots of patterns of energies going on, and they can all be helpful for us in terms of our personal evolution and the collective evolution as well, you know. So yeah, fixed signs are really going to, you know, for the next 20 years, those who have prominent fixed signs, planets in fixed signs or angles, you know, of their birth chart, they will probably feel it, I think, a lot more personally. And then, you know, if this, I mean, this chart you're looking at here, for example, which is just a chart for today, this is called a quadrant system, quadrant house system. If we are to go to whole sign houses, when I look at charts for individuals, I always look at the quadrant house system, and I always use Kosh. That's, well, it's got Placidus here, but that's just because I just did a random chart for today. But if I do a natal reading, I use the Kosh house system, which is a quadrant house system, which is similar to Placidus, but it's not exactly the same. But I also look at the whole sign houses. And I've done a video on what the difference is between the two. So if you don't know what that's all about and you want to know a little bit more, just look up a video in my, you know, on my YouTube channel that's be titled The Difference Between Whole Sign and Quadrant House Systems, something like that. But anyway, what I'm getting at is that, you know, if we put our chart in whole sign houses, we're going to have 0 Aquarius somewhere, we're going to have 0 Taurus somewhere, 0 Scorpio, 0 Leo. So that transiting Pluto, therefore, from a whole sign house perspective, will activate all those houses in our chart. And then, of course, you can go to trines and sextiles as well. So that I mean, that's a collective thing, right? I think, you know, when it comes to really personal embodied passages and experience, we need to look at things, you know, in our own personal charts, such as personal planets and things like that. Pluto, you know, activating a personal planet because it's at 0 Aquarius or 0 Leo, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 degrees, something like that. Hi, Mickey King. Youngstown, Ohio. Hey, Debbie from Youngstown. Maggots. I think I know who that is. I think you've changed your name. Pluto's starting to transit 10th. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a big one. When Pluto passes through any of the angular houses are 1, 4, 7, and 10. First of all, the angular houses are the most powerful in the chart. That's not to say that other houses are not powerful. They are. They're extremely powerful in different ways. But angularity, which is the cross of the chart, they're the most powerful points. That's like 100%, voltage of electricity coming out of those angles of the chart. So I know that when Pluto passes over one of those angles, for the most part and for most people, it tends to be life-changing. But I think just Pluto in Aquarius, because of the time in the time sort of lines that we are in, the time in history we are in, and the time of this evolutionary point that we are in, this Pluto in Aquarius is going to be just a lot of things that we never thought. I mean, that's the other thing that we can sort of, well, you can't be prepared for it, because Aquarius, although it's ruled by Saturn as well, but it is ruled by Uranus. Uranus is always the energy that brings up the unexpected. It's you cannot prepare for what Uranus will bring up. So I think, Pluto in Aquarius will also be some really bizarre, the most bizarre stories and exposures of things that we never thought actually existed. I mean, first of all, just even in the last 3.5 years, with the amount of exposure that has gone on, I think it's probably fair and safe to say that just about everyone on the planet has had some version of feeling like this life and this world is not at all what I actually thought it was. There's something really strange going on with what we thought reality was. And that's basically because there was so much hidden in order to create, the things that they have created. And because that's all crumbling, crackling down, and being annihilated with no mercy at all, just exploding everywhere, then it has left humanity leaving like, well, I had a belief in this, I valued this, I had a relationship with that, and so on and so forth. And now we've had to realize that, well, that particular thing or that particular value or whatever it is wasn't even real. It wasn't the truth. And one of my favorite quotes is, that the hardest goodbye in life is saying goodbye to an illusion. That's the hardest goodbye. Now, you need to contemplate on that for a moment. Some of you may get it straight away. And of course, what corresponds to illusions? It's Neptune. And Neptune is preparing to leave Pisces as well. So, when Neptune and Saturn catch up in Aries, there's another paradigm being born, coming through. And this Neptune finishing its business in Pisces, as it were, it is very much about saying goodbye to old illusions. And that's the hardest goodbye, because an illusion, well, you can define it through the dictionary terms, but it's something that from a Neptunian level, it's something that we really had ourselves invested in, right? Through our heart, through our body, through our mind, from a soul or spirit level. And then to have to be confronted with, well, that actually wasn't real, so you need to say goodbye to it. That's a death, right? So it's the hardest goodbye, saying goodbye to an illusion. And the whole world is going through that from the point of view of what we thought life is. Well, Stephanie, you might attract lots of different types of relationships or experiences with others, while transiting Pluto moves through the seventh. I have seen, though, quite a few people actually in the last few years who had Pluto moving through their seventh house. Guys, don't be afraid to hit the super chat, if you want to contribute and support, my time and my sharing. That is always, always appreciated. So don't be shy to hit that little super chat button. As I was saying, I've seen a lot of people experience Pluto coming into their seventh house and being alone actually for the first few years of that transit, so it doesn't necessarily mean that somebody will instantly attract a partnership, but it can happen that way as well. I've seen others who have met very Plutonian type of characters. It's a wonderful time for one-on-one personal therapeutic psychoanalysis, astrological shadow work type stuff. One-on-one being you sit with somebody who's who's trained or specialized in the sorts of things that you're wanting to work on, and the benefit that you will get out of those one-on-one sessions will be unlike anything you've ever been able to experience before. That's a fact. That's a fact. I've seen it over and over again, because what happens is Pluto becomes the other person that you are sitting with. And so they become this agent of transformation for what you are ready to actually really deeply transform. It's also a huge cycle of transforming just your overall values, in relationships, and discovering new things that you'll start to value about people, about relationships, about partnerships, be it professional or personal. Hi, Elizabeth. Yes, we are all going through something. There's no question about that. Okay, so let me see if I missed anything here. Thanks, Anita, for hitting the super chat. Much appreciated. So let's just thanks, Elizabeth. That's very sweet. Thank you so much. Elizabeth, if you have a question, because you made a comment, I have Venus at 29 Libra, 12th house, 0 Scorpio rising, and Pluto at 2 degrees. Or 0 Scorpio rising. Okay, well, that's interesting. That I hope your time of birth is correct. And this is one way of you finding out, actually, because Pluto will basically square your ascendant, right? If your time of birth is accurate. So that's something for you to really observe and monitor really over the next, if your ascendant is truly 0 degrees of Scorpio, and I'm not saying it's not, but there's a possibility it's not, right? Then this year, really, and the next 2 years, you could say, you will absolutely, undoubtedly feel that square from Pluto, which not only will it square your ascendant, but it will square your descendant as well, right? Because you'll have Taurus on the descendant. So in a nutshell, it's activating the relationship axis. So you personally will be going through a personal desire to transform yourself, ascendant, in all your partnerships and relationships. And because it's a square, it's going to come through in quite a forceful manner. And it can bring, some pretty intense experiences in relationships, but that will ultimately help you transform for healthier relationships, you know, relationships that are more congruent and more aligned with who you are becoming, you know, at this point in your life, right? Just very simply put. I'm all squared at the moment. Oh, Elizabeth, yeah. I feel for you. I've been through yeah, so many squares by Pluto actually, and Uranus and actually Pluto, yeah, all this year and last year, squaring my Sun and Mercury when it's in Capricorn. Yeah, because my Sun and Mercury are right at the end of Aries. So I feel you. And that's been part of really, yeah, again, once again, just clearing things out. You know, it's come through a bit of conflict, you know, in certain ways, but I'm not afraid of conflict. And I'm talking about a healthy level of conflict. I'm not talking about conflict that is based on genocide, that is based on creating unliving situations. That's a different type of conflict, which is underpinned by evil. The conflict that I refer to, that I'm very comfortable with, is a healthy level of assertion, right? A healthy level of expressing yourself, right? Defending yourself, asserting yourself, speaking up for yourself. Because at the end of the day, no one is going to do that for you. So when we can tune, and that's Aries actually, anyway, right? But we sometimes conflict in that way is a very empowering experience because it enables us to be the very voice we need to be for ourselves. It's just vital for our evolution. It's vital for our growth, right? Hey, Margarita, it is 100% accurate. Okay, there's a few more that have jumped on. So some of you have only just tuned in now. So I've been talking for a while. I don't even know how long really. Let me just see. Oh, maybe about almost an hour. Let's see. Okay, so speaking of having the voice to speak up for yourself, that healthy level of assertion of your own individual expression, right? It's funny, I should mention that because here we have transiting at the moment, and it's an applying conjunction. Mercury conjunct Mars. That's probably going to create, I want to say, a fair bit of conflict. From a collective perspective, I would think that's going to speak to the Saturnian Capricorn rigid tyrannical systems. I suspect there's going to be a lot of conflict and arguments going on within those streams, those realms, and there is actually a lot of conflict and argument and debate going on because there's a lot of matters in law that are taking place. The one that took place in South Africa, which wasn't even, you know, spoken about on mainstream media, you know, but most people know that there was a case where South Africa filed certain legal, just sort of I've forgotten the terminology, but filed certain legal documents towards Israel. And when I say Israel, if any of you are from Israel and you're Jewish, sending you much love, as I send much love to my brothers and sisters in Palestine, the Palestinians as well, okay? When I talk about Israel in this context, please understand I'm talking about the leaders and the ones that are controlled by the leaders, which are in the military. So just want to be clear on that. So South Africa did take Israel to court. Of course, Israel, put in their 2 cents worth, which was denial, more or less. And we don't know what's going to come of that, really, if anything. The fact that it happened, though, is a good thing to begin with. It was in the International Court of Justice. Now, there's new matters being raised, new individuals from various countries through Europe that are also now creating some law claims it's actually in the International Criminal Court of Justice. So it's a different stream of courts, and I'm not a lawyer, so I can't really describe too much about that. But one thing I do know is that the International Criminal Court of Justice has the power to prosecute an individual, with a singular individual, one by one. They have that power to do that when claims are made against certain individuals. Of course, it has to go through court proceedings and so on and so forth. But yeah, that's in play at the moment. So that's that's a Mars-Mercury type of facet from the point of view of fighting, conflict, battle, debate in the courts, Capricorn, right? Capricorn and Saturn are the archetypes that correspond to the mainstream, courts, legal courts and so forth, right? So that's part of that. But in terms of our own, personal voice, there's always 2 sides to every coin. So this can create a lot of arguments and conflicts and debates between people. Sometimes they can be healthy, sometimes they can be not so great, but it is also an opportunity for us to really speak our mind, basically, and Mars is exalted in Capricorn, so that is one powerful Mars bar, I like to call it sometimes as a joke. That is one powerful Mars, exalted in Capricorn. It's one of the best places for Mars, actually. I did a video on Mars in Capricorn. Watch that if you haven't, which is all about Mars in Capricorn and its powers. So there's something really interesting going on here with Mars and Mercury, and Mars being in its exalted position. But it's that's the word I was trying to think of. If I was to, sort of put it in a few words, it would be to say that Mars conjunct Mercury in Capricorn, this passage, and it's an applying conjunction, meaning Mercury is approaching Mars. It hasn't gotten there yet, but it is within range at the moment. So in other words, what that means is that portal, that transit, is open for a few days' time, right? It's the courage, Mars, in exalted position, Capricorn, powerful, the courage and power to speak your own authoritative voice. Authority is Capricorn, voice is Mercury. That's what that window speaks to for each of us. Just scrolling through. Thanks, Pebbles, for the super like. Anybody else there that wants to hit the super like and ask a question, you're more than welcome to do so. Pebbles, if you have a question, throw it in and I'll answer it for you. If I already haven't, I just can't remember which ones I've responded to. Hi, Robert. Thank you for appreciating my voice. It's Venus in the 3rd house. That's what it is. She, the goddess, has blessed me with this tone, because the third house is how we communicate. I just realized the other day. Yes, yes, yes. That's Stephanie King's talking about US Supreme Court is coming up on another Saturn return. I'm not sure what you mean by that. The US Supreme Court is coming up on another Saturn return. I'm just not sure what that means exactly. Are you talking about USA, the country, or if you can just clarify that? But yeah, Saturn corresponds to laws and man-made law. 42 countries are going to be having elections this year. A first in human history. Yeah, okay. Magus. Yes, that is absolutely pivotal. Revolutions, Pluto and Aquarius, they're going to be rolling out like there's no tomorrow. There's just, it's very hard to even sort of grasp in our mind, the level of revolutions and things that are going on, because there's so much of it going on everywhere, and there's only so much we can focus on at any one given moment as well. But this is about collective revolution, so it has to happen, and it will be country upon country, state upon state. It's a grand collective awakening, Pluto and Aquarius. So it has to reach every corner of the earth, as it were, and it will. And it will be going on for a long time as well. I think the first few years are going to be a bit rough. It's not going to be easy, the first few years of Pluto and Aquarius, because if Pluto is the one that is, first of all, the agent of transformation, it is the agent of the soul individually, and then the agent of the collective family soul. It is the one that exposes everything that is hidden. Imagine how much it's going to bring up, to the surface to be seen. And when a planet, especially a planet like Pluto, first enters a sign, the 0 degree mark is very, very critical. It's a very potent energy, vibration, as above, so below, right? And the first few degrees, it's got to, pick and tease out and bring up so much stuff, which is going to be felt in cataclysmic ways for us, I think, on the planet. So it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be a walk in the park. But I think once it starts to settle and calm down a little bit, there's still going to be revolutions taking place, but it will be at a level that we would have already stepped up to a different platform. So it will not feel as intense and cataclysmic as it still feels right now, That's my sense of it anyway. The natal chart for the creation of the USA Supreme. Oh, okay, Stephanie, thanks for clarifying that. Yeah, I haven't seen that national chart, but since you've mentioned it, I may have a look. And if it is having a Saturn return, yeah, that would be definitely, what corresponds to, all these legal matters, which I think, it's been going on heavily, really the last 3.5 years. We just don't hear about it, in mainstream media, as all of you are aware, I'm sure. Okay, I'm just going to sip of water. All right. seeing if there's anything that I want to sort of unpack for today. I think, look, the main essence of today really was to just have an opportunity to connect with those of you that showed up, and thank you for those of you that have. And also, I don't know what you guys believe or practice or whatever, but obviously you have some connection to astrology or you wouldn't be here today, right now. I'm a person who is very connected to practices that relate to yoga and meditation and silent practices and things like that. I remember going to a silent retreat quite a few years ago. Quite a few. I was really young when I went to it. And there was so much to that whole process, but I learned something really valuable. It was just for 3 days, but for 3 days, no one spoke. And there were about 100 of us in this retreat. Nobody spoke. So everything was led in very particular ways. It was a real Aquarius, Uranus type of group, if you like. And it was based on yogic practices and philosophies and breath work. And so it was a community effort, you know, of cooking together, participating in certain activities, which were really powerful on an emotional and spiritual level, and did leave a lot of people feeling very raw and vulnerable as well, because a lot of the practices were quite confronting, and there was tremendous trust that you had to have with basically strangers. So those sorts of things are really powerful practices or journeys, you know, that we undertake. And that helped me understand a lot about the power of silence, actually, and the power of the heart and the power of breath and the power of spirit and source and soul, and the noise, which is the mind, the thoughts, the distractions externally, that busyness and that chaos, how much it really distracts us from the power of silence and stillness. A lot of people don't understand what that means, because you have to, you need to practice that to experience it yourself, to understand how powerful that is, you know, not just by somebody telling you and then you telling somebody else. It's got nothing to do with words. It's got to do with entering this space that is very, very powerful. And so I'm kind of bringing that up because today, with although the conjunction with Sun-Pluto happened a couple of hours ago, it's still there. It hasn't gone anywhere. You know, it's all of today really is, and even really for the next few days, but specifically today, I want to say, you know, it is a really powerful portal that we can find a personal connection to, you know, whether that's through journaling or meditation, visualization, yoga. You might want to dance through it. It's up to you, but fundamentally, it is a really powerful vibration to align, to really align with the soul component of who you are, and maybe just, you know, set some intentions, plant some seeds, and, you know, do it with clarity and intention and purpose. You know, today's a really good day for those sorts of practices, is what I'm essentially saying. Yes, dance. Yeah, dance. Yeah, Vipassana. Yeah. Who asked Stephanie if she's 82? Yeah, I'm not gonna bother with that. Oh, good night, Miriam. Um, so I'll yeah, I think I'll leave it there and wish you all a powerful um day, night, morning, evening. And I really hope you take a moment just to honor and reach into, this energy, um, and allow it to speak to you, to birth seeds in your own consciousness, whatever it's going to do. If that language is too kind of out there for you, just sit still for a few minutes and just feel into that energy, set some intentions for yourself. And I'll be back soon with much more. And finally, I just want to say, um, I'm starting a second series of classes. It was supposed to start on the 21st of January, being today, but I've postponed it until February. I think it's the 9th, 10th of February. And it is a 12-week series. One thing that people don't seem to understand, and that's fair enough. I can understand why people don't understand this if they don't know me or if they haven't followed my work. So it's a 12-week series, which is on all the planets, on Chiron and various asteroids, including looking at Mercury as a morning star, evening star, including looking at Venus as a morning star, evening star. And now when we look at these archetypes, these planets, we are going to be looking at them from an evolutionary perspective, from a traditional perspective. And in some cases, for some planets, there'll be some Babylonian perspectives added there as well. Because in Babylonian teachings and times, they did not have the consciousness and the awareness of Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, or Chiron for that matter. They had not been discovered in those times. They were still there, but they had not been discovered. So some people think that, I've studied the planets. I know what it means to have the sun in Taurus. I know what it means to have the sun in blah, 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 whatever. And that's fine. Maybe you do. But you don't know what my classes consist of, right? I had a lady email me yesterday, say to me, I've been practicing astrology for a few years. This is too basic for me. And it's not too basic for you. Not at all. Because of my style, because of the levels that I bring in, and because of the expertise that I bring in. People who just finished the first series, which was on the zodiac signs, the 12 zodiac signs, as well as quadruplicities and elements, as well as essential dignities and abilities, as well as a class on the alignment of the soul personality, which that was my introduction, the first series. And I can tell you now that the majority of people who joined, every single one of them learned something. Some learned a lot more than others, but there was no one in that group that didn't learn anything. So do not underestimate what I have to offer and give, because there's a lot there. So if you're interested in joining, feel free to reach out. My email is pretty much under all my YouTube videos anyway, and I guess I'll pop it in under this video as well. Okay, so you guys, a couple of you are having a chat with each other. That's great. All right, if there's no more questions or no more comments, I'm going to leave it here and see you guys soon. But as I said, reach out for my classes. They start soon. Well worth the investment. They'll be going on fortnightly, so one per fortnight over 12 weeks. For the Northern Hemisphere, it'll be in the evening, about 7:30 in the evening. Southern Hemisphere, it works out to be about 11 a.m. Each class goes for approximately 3 hours. There are numerous chart examples that we look at in each class. And yeah, just reach out if you want to know more. Okay, there doesn't seem to be any more questions, so I'm going to tune out, guys. I'm glad I finally got on here today. It took a lot of messing around, and it even took paying Zoom again, which I'm going to have to ask for a refund because they've done this to me twice now. I don't know why. I need to get to the bottom of it. Some weird communication stuff with them. Okay, I'll see you guys soon. Fiona. Yeah, Fiona, can you just delete your comment? I don't want to talk about that kind of stuff on my live streams or videos. Just delete that comment. I appreciate it, but if you don't mind, just delete it. Okay, see you guys very, very soon. Much love and happy Sun-Pluto in Aquarius. It's phenomenal. This conjunction, if I didn't mention it at the beginning, that is Pluto at 0 Aquarius and Pluto and Sun at 0 Aquarius, has not occurred for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. That's a fact.